Campus in the City is an 11-week project based in the city centre at St Nicholas Arcades. Its aims essentially are to bring us closer to Lancaster, the city itself, the community, to give the community a chance to see what goes on campus on a daily basis and to take part in that, to interact in it, to meet the academics and the students. And it's a chance for the academics and the students to show the community what it is that we actually do and to show them how relevant we are to their everyday lives and the role that we play within the community. Basically, as the Enterprise Officer for the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, it's my job to help students and academics engage in knowledge exchange. And by knowledge exchange, we mean taking their research and their activities and using that for the benefit of other groups external to the university. I'm hoping that the public will get an insight into what goes on campus on an everyday basis. I'm hoping that they'll have fun interacting with the academics and students and the activities in the space that we're going to be using. And I'm also hoping that they'll realise the fact that we've taken a step towards them and they'll take a step towards us basically by coming into their everyday life, their everyday settings and that. I'm hoping that some of them will take a step and come onto campus and have a look around and get more involved with the university. For the staff and for the students, I'm hoping that they find it worthwhile. I hope that they enjoy engaging with the public. I realise that for some of them it's nothing new. You know, they've always done this sort of work. For others it's actually a courageous step to take their work down into what is essentially a retail environment and put their work, their research, their activities out there for public consumption. I'm hoping that most of them get a taste for it, if they haven't already, and want to do more of it after Campus in the City. And if they do, then for me Campus in the City in that respect has been a huge success, and I'll be there to help them do other activities and that once Campus in the City is finished.
We've been looking at the history and future of room temperature, and that's really important in terms of the dynamics of energy demand and everyday life. And basically, since about the 70s, indoor temperatures have been rising by about 4 degrees, and the amount of clothing people wear has also been dropping. So the exhibition is about the relationship between clothing, indoor temperature and energy demand.
So one of the things we've been doing is getting people to just think a little bit about the temperature and what their guess is of what the temperature might be here in the exhibit space, but also outdoors. And it's been quite interesting to see just the range of guesses that people have had, and as well their sort of ideas about whether or not they're comfortable in those different spaces.
So that's why. So we're interested in the CLO, and we're interested in sort of the history of thermal comfort research and the engineering equations and how that gets bedded into normal building design and all the kinds of clothing that people wear.
So we brought the car to Campus in the City because it's a great opportunity for us to show people in Lancaster one of the things that's actually done up at the university.
It's the engineering department's turn to take the space up. So we've got a racing car here that the engineering students have built. It's going to be raced on at Silverstone in a time lapse against 70 other countries and teams. And inside we've got a Sky Electric, just as a fun thing because it's got a connection to the cars, racing cars.
My research is about breastfeeding. This is why we've decided to have an event within the Campus in the City that centres on breastfeeding and is a space for women to come in and chat and share their thoughts on how breastfeeding is approached culturally, what kind of reactions they might get to the fact that they're breastfeeding.
this is obviously a really important year, the centenary of the First World War. And the Department of History is working with multiple groups from the community to help commemorate the war and to reflect on its significance in society today. And we have various projects in the campus in the city site.
The Lancaster Military Heritage Group had created a website which named and gave some information on all of the casualties on Lancaster's War Memorial. And what we wanted to do was use text mining techniques to extract a lot of the information from that, so we could then produce a map, an interactive map of where all of those casualties lived within Lancaster. So you can, for example, click on a street, see which addresses lost people from that address, and then follow that out to actually find out more information about those casualties.
Colourful Souls project is about transferring a skill to the Homeless Action Centre's clients and then using that to make a product to sell to generate profits, go back into the shelter's theatre group.
We do a course called Creative Enterprise, and that's sort of a course that encourages you to create your own project and create your own sort of involvement within Lancaster specifically. We had Emily on our team who works at the Lancaster Homeless Shelter, and with DT3 as well, on Lives to Stage, their theatre project. So it kind of all just came together in that way really, for us to get involved with the homeless shelter and to do something within the city and the community.
The reason we've come today is we want to bring our research into the community, because what we feel very strongly is that people do research and they write papers, etc. But if people who we're actually doing the research for don't actually find that information or come across it, then really there isn't much point.
We're working with the Spectrum Centre to try and raise awareness of bipolar disorder, but particularly to engage people in an artistic process that will help them understand more about the research that's going on at the university.
Most of my research is in the area of applied ethics, specifically three areas: the ethics of resource allocation, so questions about how the NHS should divide up its resources, limited resources, research ethics, so what sorts of medical research are ethically acceptable and should be permitted, and finally ethical questions to do with the use of new biotechnologies, which is what I'm talking about today.
My interest is in people's ideas about ethical and social issues around human genetics. So what I'm doing in Campus in the City is trying to get the public in to give me their opinions on all sorts of different aspects of human enhancement and uses of genetic technology.
So the idea of Campus in the City is to take the campus to the city. It does exactly what it says on the tin. The faculty wants to say to Lancaster City, this is what we do. And rather than just present one thing, what we want to do is to present a multifaceted view of what the campus does. So it's about what the faculty does on the campus, but in the city. So why are we doing this? Well, partly because the university doesn't really engage that well, I don't think, with the city, and therefore one way of doing that is to take what we do down to where people can actually find it easily, where they can find it just as they're passing and see what it is we're doing. We do bring people onto the campus, and that's great, and it's a really good engagement opportunity for people from the city, but frequently people don't realise what they might come and visit on the campus. So the idea of the project is to actually visit the city, present some of our research, present some of our knowledge exchange projects, and try and engage people in Lancaster with what we do.
great to be able to welcome Lancaster University on site into one of our unused units, operating as campus in the city and doing some terrific community stuff for us here. It's been excellent, rather than have an empty shop unit with boards on the window telling people to contact our agents or myself to have a look at it. People are able to get inside and get a feel for the unit and see what it's actually like in use. Having the lights on, having some activity in there and being able to see it being used for the public good has been terrific for the centre, and I hope for Lancaster and the university.
I think that a lot of people within Lancaster just see it as something up the road and they've got absolutely no idea of what goes on there, what they're doing, and I think it's a really good idea that you can bring things in of interest that the public can have a look at.
I think it's good for the university to do this sort of thing because it lets the public know what's going on at the university, and hopefully everyone follow it and promote it and make it better for all.
I'd prefer it if this campus city store was more permanent, especially around this area. This side of the arcade doesn't have a mass amount of football compared to the opposite side, so you know, it does promote local businesses really well, and it promotes us massively being located across from it, so definitely fully support Campus City.
It's really exciting to come down and see the car and what they're currently doing, and I've brought my son along and for him to have a go, and he's really interested in engineering as well. So
we've definitely noticed an increase in footfall since Campus in the City's been here. It's nice to see new faces because we have a lot of regular customers, which is great, but it's always nice to see new people coming in, and we definitely hope that it will continue in the future. It just causes interest as well. Everybody's coming in, seeing the leaflets, asking what's going on, so it's quite nice just to have something different in the centre.
After they opened here, I feel the big difference to the students coming here as well, and it's giving me my business as well.
What they're trying to do here could actually be of benefit to the community.
What I've got out of it, I suppose, is encouragement. It's good to see something like this happening in Lancaster. It's interesting, and yeah, I think it's a good start.
It seems to be an excellent idea that the university makes itself more involved with the town and tries to share what it does with the populations. And there are things going on there that seem to be so exciting.
So what Campus in the City in this specific instance, but what universities more generally do now much more than they used to, is to think about how we can co-create, co-research with the public outside the university to develop useful knowledge for them, but at the same time to enhance the breadth and depth of our own research projects. So I would argue there's a very clear mutual benefit to be had from a knowledge exchange process that helps engage university researchers with non-university academics who have interesting knowledge. Sometimes they may not even know they have, but with the engagement with us, we can free that up for them. It's a meeting of equals to mutual benefits.
Today really is the final day at Campus in the City. I'm exhausted, I'm exhilarated, it's been absolutely fantastic. We have had over 3,000, well over 3,000 members of the public come into this space to participate, engage, collaborate, and just generally take part in the events that we've put on. Behind me is some of the feedback from today that we've collected from the public. The ticks represent people, only today, the people who came in today who thought that Campus in the City was a good idea and wish for it to continue. And as you can see, there's a hell of a lot of ticks, there's a hell of a lot of great ideas. And this wall at the moment represents a snapshot of the next Campus in the City project, the next strategy, the next sort of events we're going to put on. And it's all come from the public and people who have just come in off the arcade, off the street, but also people who've been to numerous events here. And so it's informed as well as just ideas that people come up with at random. And I will be taking these back with me, I will be thinking about them, and I will hopefully be taking them forward in the next Campus in the City.